everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Yogi Podcast. I have another guest for you guys. His name is Brian K. Williams. He's a stuntman, he is also a swordsman and a skater. But go ahead and give your own introduction to the people.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you said. My name is Byron K. I am a few things. First off, I'm human. Second of all, I'm black. Third, I do a little bit of everything. Just a creative that likes to create, move, and share in my creation and movement.
All right, so I know you said you were working on a fitness app. What inspired that?
The fact that I had to change my entire life back in 2023, I started feeling really weird. It was hard for me to walk. I couldn't go more than about 100 feet or so without my whole entire legs, everything from my neck and my shoulders down to my toes going numb. And wherever I was at, I would just fall, and I didn't know what was happening. So I would go wherever there was some grass, and I would just walk as far as I could and see how far I would go. And when it was time for my body to give out, I would be right there in the grass and I would just fall out. With that said, that's unacceptable because I'm a professional roller skater, athlete, stuntman in Hollywood, signed, SAG, after all of those things. So my life requires me to be able to move. So if I can't move more than 100 feet, then that kind of shuts everything down. So long story short, I went to the doctor, the hospital, if you will, and I spent my own money because they said I wasn't qualified for health care. I would have had to pay a lot of money for it, and I didn't want to pay that money. Plus, I would have still had to pay for the visit. So I ended up going to the doctor. Long story short, they said that I had a little bit higher elevated blood sugar, which put me in a pre-diabetic range. My A1C was like 5.8, but that wasn't the reason why my legs was giving out. What they saw was there was actually some lesions in my brain, actually in my spine and in my brain, related to MS. They said it looked familiar to MS. So from that day, I was like, oh, this is a little bit more serious than I thought. So I started changing my whole life. And in a sense, I had to find my flow. So from 2023 until 2025, I've been managing to find my flow. So now I'm skating again and doing it the way that I've been doing it. And along the way, I discovered that a lot of people are dealing with some of the things that I was dealing with, whether it's the pre-diabetic symptoms, because a lot of our diets are not that good, especially in America. And at the same time, a lot of people don't move a lot. A lot of people don't get enough sunlight, which can cause vitamin D deficiencies. All of those things were things that they saw when they took my blood. And I'm a relatively healthy dude. Like the way I look is, for the most part, the way I feel and the way I move through life. So relatively healthy. So it was surprising to see that some things just weren't looking right when it came to me, because I've always been known as one of the healthier, more athletic, capable friends in my friend groups, no matter what friend group it is. With that said, I changed my life and I managed to find my flow. It took me a couple years, but once I figured it out, I wanted to share it. So I created an app called the Flow Finder, and it's here to help you or whoever find their flow, to help you get from where you are to where you want to be, the same way it did for me.
And is it available on download on Android, iPhones? Where can they find it?
Well, right now, you can't find it anywhere, but it is up. I just don't have it released to the public. I'm still testing it. It's in beta. I have like quite a few of my friends, and I have about 25 people testing it in real time. I have it right here on my phone, so I could show it at any time. And I plan to release it this year. Actually, it's going to be myflowfinder.com. So I already have the domain ready. I'm just getting the app ready so I can assign it to the domain, and I can get people to start downloading and hopefully finding their flow and changing their life.
Nice. And with connection with that, how do you feel about personal training? Was it something you've been passionate about or you got into because of your health issues?
A little bit of both, but I would say if it's a passion, it's a newer passion of mine. Like I didn't know I had this passion until recently. And it came from during the period of me figuring out what the hell was going on with me and me trying to fix my life, fix my body, and heal my wounds, whatever they look like, physical, spiritual, mental, psychological, whatever. I realized that even just the way I was speaking about myself motivated other people, because like to them everything looked good, but when I tell them that it wasn't all good, but I was still moving as if it was, moving as if there was still a way forward, that was enough to inspire people. And just a few conversations: Byron, how'd you do this? Or what do you think about this? I'm going through this, what do you think? And I would just tell people from experience, here's what I would do, here's how I would look at it, or I've actually went through that myself and here's how I handled it. And just from that, I noticed that people were getting better. Whether somebody, I have a friend who had like really bad like leg and sciatic like nerve issues and stuff. And as he was sitting there talking to me, I didn't know he had those issues, but he started talking about them. And when I looked at him, I saw that his weight was shifted onto one leg, and I could tell that he was compensating. Like, you know how we all have our little stances that we do. Most of us don't really stand up straight. Sure. So I picked that out really quickly with him, that he wasn't standing up straight. And I was like, hey man, you may not know this, but you're compensating right
Even
now.
at work, I'm hunched over. I'm like readjust.
Exactly. And that's what he did. So the second I told him that, he's like, oh, you're right. Did that. And then after I said it, it became more conscious to him, right? So literally, I didn't expect nothing. A week later, he sent me a long voice message saying, like, yo, Byron, like, just that talk changed everything. Like, I'm not having pain no more because every time I notice myself leaning, I stand up straight. So just that psychological change, that shift changed everything else for him. And there's a bunch of those that I learned during my time of trying to fix myself, how to posture myself better, how to eat better, intermittent fasting, stuff like that. And I was literally just sharing what I knew with people, and it was working for them. And I was like, I want to be able to do this legally and not get in trouble for it. And I want to maybe even get paid for it.
Hey, yeah.
So the quickest way forward was to get a personal trainer certificate. I wanted to be like a chiropractor, but I would have had to go to school for that.
Yes.
And I ain't with that. I'm done with school and I ain't going back for that. So with that, I just became a trainer. And now I get to legally help people find their flow.
And I think that's important, especially in the Black community. We need more advocates when it comes to health, movement, fitness, or even just our friends being like, hey, you know, you should be looking into this. Because sometimes the doctors are not the ones that help us. It's really our community and our family and our friends who look out for us the most.
Yes. Don't get me started with doctors. So sneak peek into my personal training. Like when I'm talking to people, like I promise you, I don't try to motivate anybody. That ends up happening, but I'm just trying to speak life and truth into people.
Yeah.
So whenever we're working out, I work at this place called Strive 11 Fitness. It's up in Tarzana. Check it out when you can. It's a place where you can come. You can get a workout at any time. There's no class times. You just show up and you show out. It's that simple. But one of the things that I say to people is that, first of all, let me start here. Most people don't move. So I tell people that just by showing up, you're already winning because we live in an America that's very unhealthy. 50% of people are overweight, obese, unhealthy. 40% almost have some type of pre-diabetic symptoms. We're eating a lot of carbs, a lot of sugar, a lot of stuff that's like really like mass produced, a lot of GMOs, a lot of stuff that's not good. Even the good stuff is not good anymore. But when I'm training people, like I'm telling them those things, I'm like, this is your real health care. This is how you care for yourself. The doctor don't care for you. Like your health insurance, they don't insure your health. They insure your sickness. They will give you every drug to make sure that you stay sick and stay in the system. But I'm about healing. I'm about overcoming, not just managing and maintaining. They want to maintain your diabetes so they can always prescribe pills for you. I'm not about that. I'm trying to get rid of the diabetes so that you won't need pills. And when you see your doctor, it's for a checkup, not for a prescription. That's the difference.
Yes. And I think a lot of people get confused with if they're getting medication, they're getting the true help. And really is you got to heal your body from the inside and not just be dependent on medication. So I think that's an important factor for a lot of people to know about too. But let's kind of switch gears. I want to talk about the stunt work that you've done. How did you get into that?
Man, the pandemic. So it was 2020. Everything is shut down. I was working remote. I was working full time in advertising, but my job had went remote 2 weeks before the pandemic even really started. Right. That's like prophetic right there. So with that said, I had a lot of time on my hands, a lot of misplaced energy, and nothing to do with it.
Okay.
I realized I had an old pair of skates, like $50 cheap skates in my closet that I had never wore, but for some reason I always just had a pair of roller skates in my closet. Right. I don't know why. Maybe that was prophetic too. So I'm like, let me go try on those skates for a second, just one random day during the pandemic. And I put them on. I was like, you know what? Let me try something new. So I told myself I'm going to wear these skates every day for 30 days for me, just to see how it makes me feel, right? And for me, I said, I'm not going to post online or nothing, which is crazy because everything I do, like I find a way to post it, capture it or something. Like there's always a dope moment. Yes. But with this, I said, I don't care what happens. This is for me. I want to prove to myself that I can still do something for me. Right. So 30 days turned into 40, 40 turned into 44. And it was on day 44 where I looked up, I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep doing this. Like, I can't stop. Like, I think I'm in love with this. And it's already doing something for me. I don't know what it's doing, but it's doing something. So day 44, I posted, and it's on my Instagram. I remember saying like, hey guys, you haven't seen me in a little while, but I've been just living my life, working on new things. One of the things I picked up was skating. I don't know where it's going to take me, what I'm going to do with it, but I told myself I'm going to skate every day for the rest of the year. And now I'm using y'all to hold me accountable because I'm going to post my journey as I go. And personally, I didn't say this to anybody, but my goal, I had 2 goals when I first started skating after I found out that I fell in love with it. Right. Number 1, I wanted to be really, really, really comfortable in 1 year because I'm going to skate every day for a year. My goal is to be comfortable. I want to be good. Forwards, backwards. Like I want to be good on skates to where I feel comfortable, more comfortable on skates than in shoes.
Yeah, no. I am not a skater, y'all. I'm a dancer, so I have coordination in that way. But put anything on my feet,
Listen,
I might need to get some lessons. We might need to make that another video.
we can do it. Listen, if you can dance, you can skate because it's the same rhythm. And I come from kind of a dance background, even though it's not a professional background, but I know how to move. If you know how to move, you know how to skate.
Okay, yeah. So
It's
stay
all
tuned
up
for
here.
that.
Exactly. We're going to have an episode where I'm going to teach her how to skate.
Yes, yes.
Yogi
And if
the
I
skater.
fall, y'all better not laugh at me. Okay, laugh in private. Don't put it in the chat.
They going to laugh. And those are going to be the best comments too. Trust me.
It is. Okay.
But
we got it set up.
The second thing I told myself was like, okay, so year one, I wanted to be comfortable. By year two, I wanted to be able to skate on a professional level. I didn't know what the hell a professional level skater is. That's just another goal I set though, because it got to go somewhere. So I say that to say within 6 months, I was doing both. So within 6 months, I was comfortable. And within 6 months, I was already booking stuff. I was already getting items sent from brands. I was already getting picked up for shows and things like that. And I was like, wow, not only is it changing my life, but it's changing the trajectory of my life and like how I see myself, how the world sees me. Like maybe this is it for me. So from there, I just kept pushing. And I've been so blessed to work with some of my favorite people, Earth, Wind, and Fire,
I love them.
Usher, quite a few people. The funniest thing about it though is I didn't tell you how I actually got signed. So I told you how I started skating, but it wasn't until 2023 that I got signed and started making real money for it. So it was 3 years that I was skating. And the first 2 years, I was making a little money here and there. Year two, I did this thing called Disco Oasis, which was a 6-month production where I was skating 5 hours a day on stage in front of a bunch of different people every single night. That was crazy. That's what actually made me a pro level skater. But what got me signed was, it's so crazy. I want to say it was October 2022. Yeah, because it was about to be the start of 2023. And I had got laid off from my advertising job that I had through the whole time. The pandemic is finally over. We're about to go back outside. Now I lose my job finally. So I'm like, oh my gosh, God, what do? I done built a life off of this work that I've been doing. I don't have any backups or anything. And I'm working in advertising. I don't know if I'm gonna get another advertising job. What am I gonna do? I was already skating for a couple of years, and my option was like, okay, you know what? I just got laid off my job. It's October 5th. You know what I'm gonna do for the rest of this year, guy? I'm gonna pay my rent off because they gave me a good severance. So when they laid me off, I was a good worker, so they gave me a severance. I used that severance. Thank God. I paid off the rest of my rent with that severance, so I didn't have to worry about rent for a couple months. Thank God. During that same couple months, I was like, all right, God, it's October, just got laid off. It's about to be November, the end of the year. I got to figure out something before January. Cool. I was like, for this month, the rest of October and November, I'm going to just give my time to my friends. I'm going to give my talents to my friends, my skills to my friends, because I've been working in advertising. I've been creating stuff for all these brands, Forbes, MLB, Red Bull, because I worked for the company that created Red Bull at the time. And I was just creating all these things for all these other people and not really getting recognized, but I was just like saving other people's like positions and stuff that were over me by doing all this work that they couldn't do. And then I was like, you know what? I've been doing all this work for all these other people. Why don't I just do it for my people? So during that 3 weeks when I was laid off, I was like, all right, God, I'm just going to be there for everybody. Many people as I can. I'm going to give them my skills. I'm going to give it away. And in the meantime, hopefully I'll figure out my way forward, whatever that looks like. So during that time, any friend who needed a photo shoot, I got you. I got equipment. Any friend who needed just a body or a model for something, I got you. Anybody just wanted to hang out and vent, I got you. I just wanted to be there for everybody. And during that 3-week period, one day I randomly went to Venice, and then one of my OGs, Terrell, was there. Since I'm a skater, I've been skating for a few years. I know all the skaters, all the OGs. I'm already in the game. You know what I'm saying, as far as skating goes. So I went to Venice one day, and my OG, Terrell, was like, hey, Byron, it's time. I was like, for what? He was like, it's time to get signed. I was like, what that mean? He gave me a number. Her name is Heidi. He gave me this lady, Heidi. Shout out to Heidi. I ain't going to say your last name, but he gave me Heidi's number and her email. He said, the rest is on you. I was like, okay, cool. So I introduced myself to Heidi, showed her some of my clips, and she already trusted Terrell because like they were business partners for years and stuff. And a week later, going into November, I was signed. It was to KMR Talent at the time. Now I'm with Clear Talent Group, but it was with KMR Talent. I got signed. Now here's the thing. As soon as I got signed, this is the beginning of November, and this is where everything shifted with everything in my life. I talked to myself and I talked to God a lot. So once I got signed, I was like, all right, God, here's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna let this be what it is,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna let her do her job. I don't know how none of this industry stuff works.
Mhm.
However, if I book something by Thanksgiving, I'm all in. I didn't know what that meant at all.
Oh no.
So a couple weeks pass. Heidi sends me a couple auditions.
Mhm.
A couple weeks later, I book a couple roles. One TurboTax, one Domino's.
Mhm.
The TurboTax by itself fed me for a whole entire year.
Ooh.
Then the Domino's. I did two commercials and I actually shot both of them right before Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
So not only did I book something before Thanksgiving, I shot them both before Thanksgiving. Heading into January, February of 2023 now,
Mhm.
I'm about to file my taxes. Like, man, I got to make some money. I've been doing all this work, and
Yeah.
commercial money comes kind of slow. You don't get that till weeks, sometimes months later. So
Mhm.
I had done the stuff a month ago. I had done my
Yeah.
days, been on set, everything. And then like I filed my taxes in February, and then like I'm waiting to get my return. I check my account one day because like I'm struggling at the time. Like I'm
Mhm.
making enough to make ends meet. I still don't have a job. I'm just living off whatever money I had in my pocket because my rent's already paid for a couple months.
Exactly.
So now I'm just living off of pocket change right now until I
Mhm.
figure something out, right? So I'm going to the donut shop, Winchell's, with $1, and it's on my account, not in my pocket, in my account.
In
So
your
as
account.
I'm going to Winchell's, I'm like, let me check my account, make sure that dollar is there. I don't want to be embarrassed when I go to get a donut and I
Mhm.
can't afford it. So I checked my account and it said 14,000 something dollars. I'm like, what the
Ooh.
hell? This is fake. This is fake.
Right? When God does it, man.
When I tell you, I still went to Winchell's and got that same $1
Hey, me
donut
too. Shout
because
out
I ain't know
Winchell.
who was setting me up. But I gave it a couple days. It was on a Friday actually,
Mhm.
and then I was like, I'm gonna give it the whole week, and I ain't
Yes.
touching none of that money.
Before they
I ain't
take it
buying
back.
nothing. I'm gonna just sit in the house for 2 days.
Mhm.
I sat in the house for 2 days. Monday came, that money was still there. I'm like, I got to get to the bottom of this. Where did this come
Right.
from, right? So I checked it, and it was literally a payment from the TurboTax commercial, just a one payment of
Oh
like
wow.
14.
They just
It was $13,999 that I
Mhm.
got overnight just wired to my account. I was like, that's crazy. Then literally 3 days later, 5.5K, my tax return hit. Then 2 weeks later, 7.5K,
Wow.
Domino's hit. I went into March with 25K in my
Mhm.
account. That 25K, I still had no job.
Mhm.
That 25K allowed me to go to North Hollywood, the place where, and I didn't tell you about this. I used to be homeless back in
Oh, wow.
2016. I was homeless out here in LA, and I used to sleep in North Hollywood because that's where all the creatives were. And I was a dancer, so I was able to take showers at the dance studios and
Mhm.
stuff. So that's how I was able to survive during
Right.
that year where I was homeless. Fast forward, it's now 2023. I'm driving through North Hollywood looking at apartments because I'm about to get me a 1 bedroom apartment. I ended up getting approved that same day for the
Mhm.
apartment within an hour. They said, you were one of our top candidates. I was a top candidate. I had no job. I was just a signed
gosh.
professional roller skater who had made $25,000 this month, and I was on contract to make money for the rest of the year. That's
Mhm.
all they needed. They called my
Thank
agent.
goodness, because nowadays they be asking for everything.
The only reference they needed was my agent Heidi. They're like, hey, is Byron really making that money? She's like, yes, and he has more coming. He's on a contract. He did 2 commercials. They're both paying him for the rest of the year. With that said, I got my first apartment out here in LA. I was 30
Alright
years
now.
old. I just turned 33 last year, and life has been different.